Good morning. Great to be back. So I was out of town for the latter part of last week. It's just a good time to go visit one of my best friends over there at the beach. So definitely looks like some range type of action on the ES. Finding some support down at this level. It might even be a little bit higher than I have it here. So it could actually be somewhere like up here. Looks like this downtrend has played out with a break and new low. Now we're finding sideways movement. That looks kind of like a smaller range potentially. Pretty similar on the NQ. Short-term leg back, it's a break and new low. Not really much else to say there. CL always has a bunch of movement in the overnight for some reason. Could be that. There's definitely something kind of working up. Drop some support here. In fact, it just looks like a range, really. Like that. Let's mark up the overnight lows. The overnight highs. Just trying to get an understanding of what's happened so far. So it looks like a downtrend, might have a break in new low, but it's sort of uncertain there. Goes into congestive area, 2 legs up, 1, 2, goes into this range, downtrend, break new low, uptrend, turns off the range highs, just moving sideways, downtrend, break a new low, finds a support, moves up, uptrend, break, 2 legs to a new high, move down, overshoot, break a new low for the downtrend. That's what I see. I was thinking there might be some sort of uptrend working higher, and it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but it doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to remove it and just play it play the shorter term stuff. Just looks like a range. Looks like you get an uptrend here. That might or might not have a close outside new high. If you draw it like this, you could say it does. If you draw it a little bit wider, you probably say that it doesn't. So sort of tough to say. Let's go to the second monitor, mark up everything. So this morning, instead of meditating, I've been doing the heart, breath, and mind exercises. It's from the book Heart, Breath, and Mind. And that's by Leah Lagos, recommended by one of my mentors over at Top Pick Trading, Eric. One of the books that he recommends. So it's a 10-week exercise, basically, where you are trying to find what she calls your resonance frequency. So it's basically a way of breathing that is supposed to be like more natural, and it's supposed to I think increase your HRV, which I think is your heart rate variability. Basically tells you how well you can recover from whenever your heart rate increases, basically. Anyway, it's I've been doing that, and she recommends that you don't meditate while you're doing it. So instead you just do the exercises. So I've been doing those. For some reason today, my HRV and my whatever standard deviation number was really high, or higher than the past couple readings that I've done. So I'm not sure why that is, but also I felt like I was super fidgety while I was doing it, and I didn't necessarily enjoy doing it. I remember thinking that I would have rather been meditating. There were some points where I was trying to clear my mind, like meditation, but it's sort of hard to do, trying to also focus on breathing a very certain way, and also not having my eyes closed. So I'm going to keep up with it, but so far I have not really enjoyed it very much. It's not the point, though, to enjoy it. And this morning I have some green tea. Went to Costco, and they had this matcha tea blend with something else, and I would prefer sort of regular green tea, but this is okay. This weekend I got a little bit of studying in, which was great. I went through the past couple days of review. So I had like 1.5 days of review to do, so I did those. I did some study just bar by bar, and I spent some time looking at the past documents. So my past trading documents, to just sort of tease out any common issues or places that I've been doing well, and trying to find any sort of tendencies there. Writing down little questions that I have for myself to look into and stuff like that. trying to improve my posture a little bit. I wonder if I'm still in frame. I am. Nice. So usually I'm super hunched over, so trying to sort of work on that. So CL after this downtrend played out, and I do think you could probably just pull this out. It doesn't really matter if there's an overshoot there or not. Either way, you get to break a new low. You're finding some buying though after the downtrend has this break a new low. On the RTY, it looks like this uptrend is moving to a break a new high. And if it does, then there could be a chance to go short. CL is really taken off. Looks like there might be a secondary larger trend going on. Maybe something like this was right after all. And prices are moving up towards a close outside a new high, potentially. Although I don't know about that. What I do know is this is quite a strong uptrend here. I'll draw this just in case. On the RTY, we are trading down after the uptrend has a close outside a new high, break out of the overnight highs. So there's the potential to take a short here.
Order submitted.
Prices push strongly through the EMA. One thing to mention is that there could be some sort of spike in channel up through here. Sort of looks like that might be the case, given how prices are playing right here. That's sort of strange, especially if prices had just played out for this uptrend and that was all.
Order
so with that being said, even with this strong push, I think I'm going to stay out of that just in case. Recently, I've been saying that there's no reason to take any unnecessary risk. So this one to me would be an unnecessary risk. But let's do look. And that's where you'd be getting out there. Or I would be getting out if I had taken that. Prices are just trading straight on down. So maybe I wasn't correct to be looking at that possible uptrend there. looks like that would have played out quite easily. So it was incorrect there to skip that one, I believe. On the CL, you could maybe say this looks like 2 legs back, looking for the break and new high of this uptrend. But with this potentially just being a retest trend, I'm not going to take that. Also could just be a leg like this down. Although really, to me, it just looks like this. I believe that's probably right. Looks like that is rocketing off. See if prices go ahead up to that breaking new high. In Q, here's a possibility. Looks like 2 legs down, 2 legs down to the support level, and a break outside of this range area. So if we do see a strong push up here,
Order submitted.
then it's something that I might be interested in. Have to see that strong push for the support though. Haven't seen that strong push that I'm looking for. And now you have a congestive area. So even if you do get a strong push there,
Order canceled.
then it's not going to be something that I'm really looking for. It's too high of a chance that you get trapped. And there is a strong push right there, but I'll look for some sort of breakout pullback of this congestive area. And if you get something like that, then maybe there is a chance to enter.
Order submitted. Order
RTY
submitted.
has a close outside and new low and breakout. So if you get a strong push above the EMA, that'll be something I'm looking to take. It's a pretty strong push up, but I need to see the continuation.
Order filled.
Just realized there's no stop strategy on there. So let's put a
Order
sell
submitted.
limit in here and a sell stop
Order submitted.
market right in here. Let's build that order ourselves. And I believe that is the same sort of bracket there. In Q, you didn't find that support that I was looking for. I was thinking maybe there'd be a breakout pullback and you'd find some momentum there,
Order
but it's not
canceled.
what happened. So we're going to remove that. I like how this is a strong push through the EMA after it looks like this downtrend has pretty clearly played out here with a close outside and new low, breaking below the overnight lows. That looks like a range. So we'll see if that plays out. Let's hop over to the CL. So I was thinking this might be 1-2 legs back, but I was hesitant to go long here. And the reason is because it looks like this could be a retest trend of this major uptrend, plus the breakout of the overnight highs there. And it looks like I was right to be hesitant, even though you did find that momentum on what would have been the 2 legs back, looking for the break and new high of this trend right here. So it looks like I was correct to skip that one. RTY is finding some selling there. I'm wondering if I have this in the right spot. Looks like I've got it just 1 tick off there. So I'm going to fix that. Put this up 1 tick and that down 1 tick. On the ES, it looks like there's a short-term downtrend with a break and new low, breaking out of these overnight lows.
Order
So
submitted.
there's the potential to find a long trade as prices possibly fade this and come above the EMA. I think it's pretty clear to me that the short-term downtrend has played out. It's very likely that prices will come back within this range. So one thing that's sort of going through my mind is that this looks a little bit congestive. So even if you do get a strong push up and through the EMA,
Order
I'm
canceled.
thinking it might not be the right move now. Really what I wanted to see was just a strong straight move up through the EMA, not this kind of sideways choppy action. Now on the NQ, there's clearly a strong downtrend here. We'll probably get a break in new low, but you also have a break below these overnight lows. So I'm expecting prices to come up and at least test that. So that's why I'm not going to play any shorts here. It's possible that we do get a downtrend like this at some point, but this is highly uncertain at the time. On the CL, if this uptrend is correct, then you have an uptrend, overshoot, break, new high, and now you're moving sideways. It appears these overnight highs are not actually helpful at all. And it looks like prices are struggling to create a break and new high for this trend. It's probably what they want to do, but overall we're just moving sideways. So there's nothing to really do there. On the RTY, this uptrend played out at the overnight highs, leading to a strong sell-off. Downtrend gets a break and new low at the overnight lows. Strong push up, gets a break and a new high. And again, I do not know if prices will go this far. Of course, I'm hoping they will. I'm hoping to get out of this, but if I don't, then it is what it is. Back to the ES, this range is definitely holding here. So it was a good call to not be looking for any longs with this sideways action. Looks like now that the short-term uptrend has a closeout side and 2 legs to a new high, prices are correcting in the opposite direction. So it's still possible this trade works out, but the correction that I was looking for has now played out and we haven't reached my target. So whenever this happens, it's definitely tempting to move my stop to break even because the move that I was looking for has already happened, but I'm just going to let this play out. So it's possible that you just start the second leg down. So it's possible we get a whole second leg down, similar to this one. Something like this. Or it's possible you just get kind of 2 legs down before we continue higher. Either one of those is a possibility, or neither one. Just have to wait and see. On the ES, just continuing to work sideways. Overall, I was expecting prices probably to come back within this range, at least to test this area, or possibly just this area here. But you're struggling to do either one of those, although you have gotten close to testing this one. It looks like on the RTY that will probably get stopped out. Might be starting the second leg down, as I mentioned. Something like this. The correction that I was looking for has already played out. And unfortunately it didn't go far enough to get me out there. It's okay though.
Order filled.
So it did get stopped out there.
Order canceled.
Cancel that other limit order because it's not a OCO bracket. One cancels the other. possible that I'm just entering too late on these. So for instance, at this point, it seems pretty clear that there is momentum. So let's say you get in there, then I would have gotten out for 1-to-1. And I have seen this sort of repeatedly, where I'll take it as it goes through the EMA, and it just won't push far enough to get me out, even though I kind of am right in the direction. So I guess that's the trade-off between confirmation and timing. Looks like we're working towards that second leg down. Could find some sort of downtrend, possibly like this on the RTY. On the NQ, looks like you might be working towards this possible trend line. I see a bunch of congestion. Break, break. Possible to see some rejection off of this trend line. It's pretty uncertain though, so I'm not going to be willing to play that. Looks like this trend is incorrect. Prices are probably going to come back and test this old support level, see if it holds as resistance. I actually don't really understand what's going on any of the charts. I think this downtrend could be correct on the ES, but kind of looks a little odd. It's not very confirmed for the most part. So you could see prices move towards a break and new low of that, especially after this range has a breakout pullback there. So you could see that. But nothing that I'd want to take there. The incur. Again, it also looks like prices have made a breakout pullback of this support area. So downtrend gets a break, the short-term uptrend gets a break a new high. Attempt at the new lows for this downtrend. Fails. Goes into this congestive area. Failed break at the top, failed break at the bottom. Leads to a strong rally, gets a break, new high. Looks like prices are testing this old support level. So nothing to really do there. To me, on the CL, it looks like an uptrend with a break and a new high. And then now prices kind of just went sideways for a bit before trading down. I'm not sure where prices are going here either. And on the RTY, looks like a downtrend, break new low, correction, 2 legs up, and then now you're making a second larger leg down, where this downtrend has a close outside and a new low, taking you basically right on down to it. So it's definitely a possibility to find some buying here after this downtrend has played out and after you've made these 2 larger legs down. That's a little bit riskier, but it's definitely a possibility. The one thing about buying here is you don't have any sort of obligation to the upside.
Order submitted.
I might consider something just based on that. But you don't really, like I said, you don't really have a good reason to take a long here. You're just thinking that this downtrend, all the downtrends plus the 2 legs down, have probably played out. So again, feels a little bit riskier, but it could be a good place to look for a long. Well, you are finding a little bit of buying there. This congestive area sort of scares me. Price is moving sideways there. Could see maybe a potential if prices break out the low side of this congestive area and find some buying. But as is, not interested in anything. I definitely feel like I haven't been able to get into the flow of price action today. Pretty much everything that prices are doing just doesn't really make much sense to me. Or at least it's not like crystal clear like sometimes it is. Strange that prices sort of came back and found support off of this trend that I was already sort of uncertain about, but now looks to be coming back into play, which is weird. Everything else is just sort of choppy. So can I get these two legs down? Downtrend has a break a new low. All the downtrends have played out. Congestive area, break out of the congestive area, but there's nothing clear as far as a trade to take at the time. Yes. Gonna just have this range. It's a breakout. Downtrend has a break a new low. Congestive area, breakout pullback. Short-term downtrend gets a close outside a new low. Uptrend, congestive, fail breakout, break a new high of the uptrend. I'm unsure if that downtrend is correct, but it looks like it could be. Definitely not sure about that. I don't know. You've clearly made a breakout pullback of this overnight low and are finding some resistance there. You might even be moving for this break a new low, but it's pretty hard to say, and nothing that I would be tempted to trade there. Yep, not really anything I'm interested in. Not at the moment. Pretty boring day so far. Not really much going on. Can expand this range out there. It's not really helping you at all. Just draw the overnight highs. You can clearly just see that range from earlier is the one that was really in play. That's about it. There's no strong expectation of prices going really anywhere. It's tempting to maybe just start trying to play this range, which is pretty clear, off this resistance and this support. But it doesn't feel like well, I've tried it before, and I'm really bad at timing those ones. Generally, right as soon as I buy or sell one of the range extremes is right whenever it breaks. So not looking to do that. Similarly, this is not really coming into play. You can just draw this support level from earlier, and that will suffice. Put this resistance up there for the overnight highs. That's about it. This uptrend has a close outside a new high. And the RTY, downtrend break new low, congestive area, downtrend, break a new low there. Not much to it. This range could be a little bit wider. Something like this, maybe. Maybe not. For some reason it still looks better like this to me. There's just nothing I'm really interested in still. Yep, nothing there. There's nothing that I see that I would have really been interested in to begin with. Maybe if you're playing these ranges, maybe something off these highs. Get this downtrend. And maybe you could consider something off the lows, but that obviously would have failed there. It's possible to find maybe something off this downtrend, but still not sure if that's correct, even this far after the fact. This failed breakout appears to be pushing prices up. But with that short-term downtrend working lower, I don't think there's anything there. Maybe with this break a new high, this trend, it's a possibility. Maybe there. Those are all areas where I could see myself potentially being interested, even though a lot of those are pretty aggressive for how I typically trade. Something there, there. I'm not saying these are great trades, but just areas where I might have been interested. Just some interesting areas. Just kind of looking to see what's out there. Like, where does it kind of make sense on this chart for me? There makes sense. So this one's really congestive. You can see that comes into play there. As prices break out and they come back within the congestive area. See something like this on the NQ possibly being right. Highly uncertain at this point though. Clearly there's a strong uptrend there, working up. There's a good chance that you fade this range. So prices have broken out this side, broken out this side. There's a good chance that you come back within, or at least come back to test this range. Timing that would be kind of difficult though. It's also possible you just want to treat this as one larger range. Let's see how that looks with the midline. Midline kind of lines up with this one here. It's definitely a possibility. I was just thinking that it makes sense to just always, whenever you think about a trade, just always start from an expectation. So if you start from an expectation first, like, I don't know, let's just take the RTY trade that I took. I'm expecting prices to find support off of this level and to fade the overnight lows. That's my expectation. You combine that with the fact that this downtrend has played out, so there's no expectation to the downside. Well, that creates this two-legged pullback right here. And like I mentioned, yeah, it didn't reach my target, but I was still kind of right in my thinking and expecting this to go higher. Just target was too far. So if I always start from an expectation, so downtrend, I'm expecting this downtrend to get a break a new low. That's what happens, but it wasn't cleared up. There was the short-term uptrend, so it's not safe to go short there. Now that you've reached these two measured legs down, you reach them there, really. I mean, there's not really that great of an expectation, to be honest. Now that this is played out, maybe you expect prices to create a breakout pullback there, but they've already sort of done that, so it's not a strong expectation. Now let's say this short-term uptrend, looks like it probably already has a break a new high. It's tough to say though. So if you draw it real tight like this, see this short-term uptrend already has a closeout side and new high. It's not really an expectation there. So do I have any expectations on any of these charts? This one looks like it's already got a break a new high. I said that prices might come back and test this range. That's not a very strong expectation for me. Plus it's difficult to time for the most part. So it's not something that I would probably want to take there. In Q, this uptrend might be right. So if prices come back down here, then maybe there's an expectation that this trend will hold. CL, for the most part, I do not really see anything that I'm interested in. Or really don't really see any expectations, is kind of what I was saying there. So uptrend's already got a break a new high there. I'm definitely confused about what's going on this one. Doesn't really make much sense to me. Let's start from here. I don't know. Do not understand this chart, really. The best thing that I can find is this uptrend. So I'll stick with that, but it doesn't really make perfect sense to me. Like, why are prices still continuing upwards despite having this break a new high? Although there is a correction there. So maybe you can just say, all right, well, this is completely played out, and now you're just on to something else. And that something else would be this uptrend gets a break a new high, creates a little congestive area, maybe breakout, breakout. Strange. I don't really understand that one. And when you don't understand it, there's not anything to do. Let's head back to the NQ where prices are headed down towards what could be a trend line here. It's an uncertain trend line for sure, but let's see if that is able to hold. So this uptrend could still be correct, so I'm not going to remove it yet. Prices could still move towards a break and new high. It did look like they were finding some support there, even though it didn't really hold. There's 2 touches there, and there's a few touches on the opposite side. So I'm going to leave it just in case, but I would definitely be hesitant to play that. On CL, it looks like there's this range here and a short-term uptrend. It's a close outside and a new high. there's definitely the potential to look for some sort of short here, but prices are pretty congestive. See lots of stacked bars right there. So it makes me think maybe that's not the best move. Though I could see finding some decent RR, risk reward, by taking something off these highs, targeting the lows, potentially. Just kind of have to see how things set up there. Sort of zoom in here and take a look. Prices are moving up and out of this little congestive area, right at this range high. There's an uptrend that has a closeout side and new high. Expectation being that prices will continue to hold this range. Obligations to the opposite side have all played out there. There's kind of two things that I don't love about this. It's that prices have been moving up for the most part, pretty much all day.
Order submitted.
So you're kind of going against the overall bias. Also, I generally am not great at playing ranges, and there is this congestion there. So definitely a few things that I don't love, but it could be a decent risk reward. Just have to see if there's any kind of good selling there. That was a strong little bout of selling, but just didn't really continue. It's just
Order
extremely
canceled.
neutral overall. Doesn't make me feel like, yes, prices are really rejecting off of that level. And there we do find a little bit of selling, but still not really what I was looking for. Let's hop over to the NQ, where it looks like this trend might actually just be a little bit wider. I still like how that fits as well. So that could be correct. Have to see what happens here. It's a very congestive section right there. There could be a slight breakout pullback to maybe confirm this trend though. I could be looking for.
Order submitted.
So that's the kind of upward momentum that I was looking for there. I might have waited a little bit too long. Let's just see if we can get a little one-to-one out of that. Prices will come back and fill me.
Order
Guess the
filled.
true level is somewhere down here. Something like that. I might be looking for prices to go a little bit too far there, but let's check it out. So just thinking this trend is probably correct. You have a breakout pullback of this congestive area. Saw the momentum there. Thinking that prices will probably take off. Hoping they'll go ahead up to that level, but not sure about that. Looks like I was not correct to be looking for prices to hold this range. Doesn't appear that range was really correct at all. So the expectation here is that this trend will hold. And as far as what has played out to the opposite side, the short-term downtrend hasn't played out, but it looks like it's had a couple attempts down that have been thwarted by this uptrend. As far as the congestive area goes, which I was a little bit worried about there, looks like it has a breakout and a pullback. Then you find momentum to the upside. So that's why I was looking to take that one. Might or might not be the right decision. It doesn't feel like the most sure thing, but we'll see. Looks like we are finding some continued up movement, but whether we make it all the way up to my target or not is to be determined. It's possible that I should start choking up my stop order. I'm just going to leave it and see what happens. Just wanted to point out a mistake on the CL that I almost made, and that would be taking a trade whenever I'm uncertain of the overall context. So this part makes sense to me, break a new high, okay? Everything from then on out doesn't really make any sense. At least doesn't make sense to me at the moment. So I had no business looking for a trade here. Need to wait until I completely understand what's going on. On the NQ, do I completely understand what's going on? Not necessarily. Kind of looks like 2 legs down. 1, 2 legs down a little bit. Maybe if you just measure off of that. Either way, you can clearly see 1, 2. Some sideways action, spike, channel up, potentially. So it doesn't make perfect sense either. But it makes more sense than the CL, at least. Looks like this range has played out on the ES. There's a break out of the low side and a break out of the high side. Now prices are doing their own thing, structureless, basically. I do want to see if I had placed my stop below this bar, we'd be pretty close, definitely closer to getting out of that. So exactly where to put the stop is definitely something to think about, as I originally started with it below that bar and then moved it below this swing here. So for whenever I've been doing these breathing exercises, I've been wearing a heart rate monitor that goes around my chest. And I was thinking it could be interesting to wear that during the trading day and see when my heart rate spikes. And just, I don't know, it could be interesting, see if there's anything to learn there. It might or might not be. It's probably not that important, to be honest, compared to everything else that's going on that I could spend time on. Okay, we found a little bit of a surge of buying right there. Didn't quite get through the stop though, unfortunately. Or didn't quite get through the target, unfortunately. So it could have been kind of an exhaustive little move up right there. We'll have to see if prices are able to keep pushing on up. Looks like they might be finding some support off the midline. So we found some support there, pushed up and through, found some resistance off of it. We've pushed up and through. We might be finding some support off of that midline. Have to see. Not going to move my target, not going to move my stop, just going to wait and see what happens. And just to sort of calm myself down and see if I could decrease my heart rate, which wasn't incredibly quick, but I wanted to see if I could decrease it. I did some of those breathing exercises, which is just 4-second breath in through the nose and a 6-second breath out through the mouth. I noticed whenever I was doing that, I got sort of a tingly sensation in my feet, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if that means anything, but just wanted to point out sort of everything that I'm feeling. And we did push up and through there, so looks like that read was correct as far as when prices were going to take off here. yesterday I was thinking about how much me winning and losing is affecting how much I'm enjoying reading the price action. And earlier today I was thinking, I'm not really enjoying it that much. I'm not really having that much fun. I think part of that is that I'm not really understanding prices very well. It's not very clear. I don't feel like I'm really in the flow with prices. I think that's part of it. Secondarily, I also took that early loss, so that could have had something to do with it. And then after this win, I can definitely feel that I'm like, I'm kind of enjoying this a little bit more. So I'm wondering how much of that is tied to my actual performance. It's probably pretty heavily tied to my performance. Thinking there could be some sort of long entry, but this just looks like one leg back. So I'd have to see some sort of second attempt down, or maybe a break a new low and break of the uptrend before I'd be willing to take a long. I'm curious how long each one of these bars is. It's 112 bars in 130 minutes. 112 and 130 minutes is like basically a minute a bar, I guess, roughly. Now, could prices turn up here? Of course they could. Am I going to take it if they do? No, I'm not. Just one leg down, congestive area. It's not a good bet. So that's an expectation. The prices will hold, but not a good bet to take regardless. You can have an expectation and not have it be a good bet. It looks to me like this trend is going to break soon. It's just looking really weak and really choppy. Prices aren't really finding a bunch of strength off of this level. And it looks like they didn't quite hit the opposite side, the channel line right here. I could be wrong. That's how it feels like to me. It's really the only interesting chart. Again, on the CL, I just like can't quite figure out what's going on. It just doesn't make sense, really. I mean, uptrend, break a new high, cool. That's it. That's all I see. Everything else doesn't really make much sense. Nothing on the RTY. Nothing on the CL. It's just this NQ trend. There's only 10 minutes left anyway, so chances are it's really all I'm gonna be looking for, most likely. And I'm wondering, and this is like probably not a good idea, but I am wondering, since I'm expecting this trend to break, I wonder if I could place like a sell order, or like, I don't know, if prices start to break it, and place a sell order right off the trend line and just look for like a small move down, just like a scalp down. I don't really think that's a great idea, but I don't know, just crossed my mind. Figured I'd mention it. There's an ant on the 3rd floor, and it's surprising. This probably came from outside. really expecting this trend line to break soon. So I'm wondering if there'll be kind of a downward surge. So let's see if that ends up happening there. It doesn't look like they're going to break there, at least. There's only a few minutes left here. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it per usual. I pretty much always call it a few minutes early. And then I'll go ahead and take some screenshots and track my trades so that way I can review them later. I will see you guys tomorrow.